Welcome to the Tesla Economist. Please hit the thumbs up and remember to subscribe. You can also follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon. I conducted some market research to find out why Ford Marquee owners ordered their Marquee over a Tesla. Not one of them answered because of the $7,500 tax credit. The only answers, aside from a few being die-hard Mustang fans, was that everyone else has a Tesla, or they simply didn't like the design of a Tesla. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion on what car designs appeal to them. At the end of the day, it's their choice where they spend their dollars. I know a lot of you disagree with me, but I really don't think Tesla are going to make many different models or variations of their models, nothing like the level of BMW or Ford. I think all Tesla vehicles there ever will be have already been announced. That's it. There may possibly be 2 or 3 different variants of the Model 2 perhaps, due to it being such a big seller, but other than that, don't expect anything else, and don't expect the basic design of these cars to ever change either. Tesla are planning on making the same cars for decades. They're investing in massive economies of scale to achieve that. They will have higher economies of scale, focusing on a handful of models and just perfecting these shapes, rather than diluting their value with 30 or so different models. This will mean they have a higher value offering to their customers and are able to produce the cars at a much lower cost and pass on some of these savings to consumers to ensure ample demand, resulting in products that offer far more value at a lower cost and thus harder and harder to compete against. And there are enough people who love their cars that Tesla will have the demand they need. But people are buying Teslas for reasons other than the actual look and design of the cars. In fact, many Tesla owners might agree that there are better looking cars, but the design wasn't the sole reason people purchased Teslas. For the record, I think Teslas do look great, especially considering how they have to factor in drag coefficient, extreme safety, and be produced on a mass scale we haven't seen for a long time, or possibly ever. But I am a car fan, and I can still appreciate the elegance of the likes of an Italian sports car, or the class of an Aston Martin. For example, I love the look of the new Lamborghini Countach. I'm sure Elon does too. He bought a McLaren F1 in the 90s because he's also an avid car enthusiast. And I think you can actually see subtle resemblances of the McLaren in the front of the Model 3 and Y. I don't think it's just a coincidence. But as incredible value as Tesla are able to offer, it does mean that Tesla end up lacking in one area. And this is nothing to be concerned as an investor. In fact, the reason is because they'll simply sell so many cars that this issue arises. Tesla are not able to offer enough individuality. You're somewhat conforming with the masses, and understandably, particularly if there'll be no other car that drives itself, the quickest, the safest, etc. Plenty of reasons to buy a Tesla. But a lot of people like to buy something unique to them that identifies with their personality, hence the reason consumers are buying a Mach-E. Tesla can't cater to everyone's tastes, personalities or lifestyles with such a limited range of models on offer. Sure, a lot of people wrap their Teslas with unique exteriors or customize them in their unique way, buy aftermarket wheels or even body kits, but sometimes that is not enough. The problem is, Tesla is just that much better. I mean, we often compare it to a flip phone and an iPhone. Sometimes it's just not worth being unique, particularly when you come off as an antiquated laggard. There is too much to sacrifice by not owning a Tesla, so much so that people accept they will be like everyone else, especially when a Tesla can drive itself. Elon says he doesn't want to create a walled garden. He doesn't want Tesla to be a monopoly or the only car on the road. The problem is their technology is just vastly superior. It's the only car that makes sense to buy. But now Elon is opening up the supercharging network and FSD to other automakers, and it may not stop there. Within time, when Tesla have ample components and batteries, then perhaps they can offer their entire platform. I think that I would like to eventually see this, not necessarily as just a shareholder, but as a citizen of the world. I think the world will look too boring if everyone drives the same car. I think individualism should be encouraged. From what I have inferred from Elon and some of his views, particularly when related to economics, that he is also an advocate of individualism, and likely against collectivism. This may be why he says he doesn't want Tesla to be a walled garden. He helps competitors with open patents, opens up the charging network, offers FSD. What else can he do? Well, the problem might be that by that stage, if none of them have managed to follow Tesla's blueprints on how to run a successful EV company, then there simply won't be many others around. And I'm starting to think this may actually be the case. Aside from some very niche EV manufacturers, that struggle to make anything more than perhaps 100,000 or 200,000 units a year, and possibly the Chinese EVs, then what else is left? Tesla will have to offer the entire platform, similar to what BYD are doing for Toyota in their BZ4X electric car. I think this is the way we are headed. This might be how Apple are able to enter the EV market using Tesla's platform. The economies of scale that Tesla achieve are going to be levels we can't imagine. The likes of Apple won't be able to compete in any capacity without adapting to Tesla's technology. But if Apple launched a car based on Tesla's platform, I would say there is likely a chance consumers will purchase it. Apple could even market themselves as a higher end car and add a premium price tag, so they actually can achieve a decent profit. The operating system and app store will most likely be Tesla based still, which Apple will not like, or perhaps there could be some sort of compromise somewhere. It would open up new business opportunities too, for custom designed vehicles for specific applications, particularly when we don't need to factor in the likes of engines, pedals, or even steering wheels. These car design companies don't need to be big, they can specialize. There can be one that makes cars designed around offices so you can work in the car. Perhaps another one for people who like to drive around with their pets. Ones for children, ones for lie-flat beds, etc. These platforms could likely be recycled easily enough too and rebuilt on, along with various options of platforms depending on range, performance and price. These companies just need to change their thought to transition to a different paradigm, in that Tesla is not their competitor, it's their saviour. These companies may even be able to work with die-cast machines too, and there'll be various ways to connect to the Tesla platform, similar to Lego. On the other hand, this is Tesla and the future. Perhaps it reaches another level. When you order your Tesla, you can choose from hundreds of different shells that can be 3D printed perhaps. You choose your wheelbase size, battery types, performance, etc. And then perhaps anyone can design a shell for the car that Tesla approves, and then you order it from there. You decide on what level of entertainment you want, screen size, stereo, everything. There could be third-party brands that design these shells. Maybe even whatever is left of legacy might be one of the brands, although not likely. I just don't think their brand image carries over that well for EVs anyway. There's too much conditioning with their old ways. It just doesn't feel right. It's a bit like in Japan, how the same word for crisis also represents opportunity, and I truly hope that is what it becomes, an opportunity for the most individualistic styles of cars we've ever seen. The complete opposite of what we are seeing occurring. As an investor, I would want them all to be based on the Tesla platform, and as a citizen, I would too. The main reason you want competition is to improve the product offering, but if a car can drive 10 times or more safer than a human, then there probably isn't that much room for improvement, at least not on the level of FSD. The next level of improvement would be in a different area, where the quote from Doc in Back to the Future applies. Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads. Cue the boring tunnel. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.